The Vera time is show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera time show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I think I ran from God for many reasons. One problem that I recognize now that I had, I was defining my faith and my beliefs based off the sentiment of those around me. I was holding my faith up to everyone else's and saying, well, is this right or is this wrong? When I started to recover, I realized my faith is my own. My faith is unique to me, as is everyone's. So once I got comfortable talking to God, having a relationship with myself and with my faith, it just became clear to me. And I recognized that in recovery, not everyone has the same faith. Not everyone has the same level of belief. Not everyone has faith at all. But you really have to find what works for you to fill that void in your life so that you can grow. So I think I have a beautiful relationship with God. I talk to God. I wake up at 3 in the morning to pray every day, whether I want to or not. And it's just been a good experience for me. And it's been a key component to my recovery.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited today to have with me my guest, George Brooks. George, how are you today?
I'm truly blessed. How are you?
I am blessed as well. And I am so grateful that you are here. And I'm going to take a few minutes to just share with our audience a little bit more about George Brooks. Okay, let me pull it up. Okay. George was born on February 21st, 1978. His early childhood shaped him by profound adversity. At the age of 8, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. At the age of 9, he attempted suicide. A heartbreaking moment fueled by illness and an absence of understanding. His school years were no different. The educational system's lack of mental health awareness only amplified his feelings of isolation. In his 20s, he had health challenges, economic distress, custody battles, broken relationships, and substance abuse. After marriage, circumstances led to a decade long struggle with cocaine addiction, while chronic physical ailments took their toll. In 2018, that was a turning point. Isolated at rock bottom, he found a renewed faith and strength in God's message that I am not done with you yet. Motivated by his divine intervention, and we're going to talk about that divine intervention, he committed to recovery and embarked on a period of intense healing, both physically and mentally. Now, I'm not going to read all of this because he's going to tell us more about these experiences. But
Right.
let me say, he is a certified life coach, mentor, writer, influencer, and CEO. So he's going to share his experience to help others reclaim their hope and rewrite their stories. He has a book that's pending right now. And in addition to his work with Metta Association, he is committed to advancing mental health awareness and support through his political campaigns. We're going to talk about that, social activism, and community driven initiatives. Now, his mission is to bring transformative change at every level, empowering individuals, influencing public policy, and driving social action for meaningful mental health reform. His purpose is to make sure that no man faces darkness alone. I am honored to have you here with me today. And I am looking forward to us having this conversation.
Yes.
Before we start our conversation, I'm going to give you the floor and let you share your story, starting with childhood and how it
Right.
impacted you. So let me give you the floor.
Well, my name is George Brooks, originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Uh, Childhood was pretty much routine from a two-parent household, which at that time a lot of my friends did. Um, as we saw the whole gamut of things economically, as far as our relationship, as far as how we interacted. At 8, 7, I started to show symptoms.
You know what? I don't mean to interrupt you, but we've got some breaking up of your conversation. I don't know what's causing that, but we're not able to hear you clearly. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a quick commercial and I'm going to let's look at what the sound situation is.
Okay.
So, let me play something right quick.
In a world where authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
Divine marketing is an awesome endeavor. The founder, the owner is Ariel Chime, and it is Authentic Divine Marketing. You can find her at https colon so semicolon / bit.ly / divine chime, Ariel Chime. She will put together a marketing plan, a website, and just a number of things to help take your business, your purpose, your passion to another level. Check out Ariel Chime, Authentic Divine Marketing. All right. Let's see if this is going to be better. So I'm going to again give you the floor and let you share your story.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I started showing symptoms of bipolar disorder about 8, 7. And unlike many black folks at the time, my folks believed in getting help for things. They weren't the type to say, well, you're not praying enough. They weren't the type to say that was a white man's problem. We went ahead and addressed the issue. Um, with everything involved, I still encountered great difficulty. Despite having a supportive family, the illness itself, adolescence, and chronic health issues kind of made a perfect storm for me to where at age 9, I did attempt suicide for the first time. Um, After getting treatment for that, I went through adolescence. I went through an eating disorder when I was younger, so I was morbidly obese. I dealt with an abusive relationship with my father that was more emotional. than anything else. I dealt with poverty. I dealt with pressure. I dealt with a lot of different things. Um, I dealt with a school system that did not know how to address the needs of children and students with mental illness, let alone Black children. Me being from Memphis, I consider myself a victim of the Memphis City school system, which was an utter joke when I was coming up and still is in terms of our school systems and educational systems being able to address the needs and fulfill the obligation of educating our kids that deal with mental illness, whether it be a situational instance or whether it be a diagnosable condition. So went through high school, went through college, got married about age 23, entered the workforce, still had problems, still was struggling with trying to find the right meds that would work, trying to find the right doctors that would work, trying to find the right regimen, all at the same time dealing with my own issues and the struggles of life. Um, and when my marriage split up around 2018, at that point I'd been about in a good maybe 10-year cocaine addiction. And I realized that that was brought on by me not dealing with my unresolved trauma. All addiction is is the response to unresolved trauma. Um, and me beating that was really incumbent upon me looking in the mirror because where I would see people go wrong, where I still see people go wrong in terms of dealing with addiction. They say, I got to do it for my mom. I got to do it for my kids. Your mom and your kids don't matter at that point. If you're not doing it solely for you, it'll never work. I've seen people all the time because kids will let you down. Your mama will let you down. Something as heavy as your own sobriety and your own life and your own salvation has to be a selfish endeavor. Otherwise, it'll never work. And once I figured that out, and once I began to look in the mirror and deal with my trauma and the things that were causing me, that were drawing me to that, it got easier. Once I started finally addressing my mental health, which I neglected for 10 years, it got easier. I started to work on me. Now, the thing is dealing with mental illness or recovery or anything, people will tell you that you're selfish because it is a selfish endeavor because you're fighting to live. If you have a chronic health issue, you have to make it about you. You have to make it about what's going to be in your best interest. The difference is between most people and me, I made it about me and God. That's what made the difference for me. So, you know, when I left my hometown of Memphis after my divorce in 2018, I started my nonprofit Metta Association. We focus on Black mental health, we focus on fighting recidivism, and we focus on promoting fatherhood. We started in July 2018. We're still going today. We just launched a new website at meta-association.org. We with the California's office in Austin, Texas, as far as doing things legislatively.
Okay. Yes. I want to interrupt you for a minute because I want to go back to you said you were diagnosed with
Mhm.
bipolar at age 7.
Right.
For parents that are either listening now or will be listening later, can you share with us what were some of the symptoms that your parents recognized that made them want to take you to be assessed?
Basically, mood swings, extreme highs and lows, irritability. You know, in a set because during that time they really during when I was 7, they really didn't officially diagnose bipolar in people under 18. Now they do, but it was the irritability, it was the mood swings. It may be the periods of sleeping too much or not sleeping at all. It was maybe at some point a little bit of psychosis because I have a 20-year-old son and he was diagnosed at age 7 also.
What?
So I'm a saying, I raised him and raised him, and that was interesting. But he was also diagnosed at age 7, so that was unique challenges because actually when he was diagnosed, I went in my room and I bawled because I knew what he was going to go through. I cried my eyes out. Then I
And
got up and
how
said, "Well, I got to do what I got to do to make sure that he's going to be okay."
and you said he's 20 now?
He's 20.
And how is he doing?
Uh, he's learning. He's learned. I think a lot of most millennials these days kind of have to. Well, I tell you what he said. He said he has to learn the hard way. So he's learning to manage his
Oh, he
bipolar.
said that to you?
Oh yeah, he told me that. Yeah, he said I got to learn the hard way. So I kind of let him kind of go on his own, learn. I taught him coping strategies coming up, and made sure I provided his medicine, whatever he needed. Uh, once he turned about 15, I said, a lot of your care now is on you, and I've seen him do well with it. Hopefully, he does well. But it was interesting because I got full custody of him pretty early, uh, and it was kind of just me and him kind of against the world, and that was difficult because not only was I dealing with my own issues in terms of my mental illness, I was dealing with an adolescent, hormonal, unhealed teenage boy. So
And
that gave me a lot of understanding into myself and into how to deal with mental illness and best to how to try to help people. So
yes, I'm telling you, to have a child that is diagnosed with the same thing that you were diagnosed with at the same age, I can only imagine how devastating that was for you.
yeah,
And
it's not so much devastating as scary. Because what the reason I cried about it is because I was like, oh, I know what he's gonna go through. Not because necessarily other people, but I know what that feeling of being bipolar is like. People, I can't describe it to people. It's painful. It's like a constant noise. It doesn't go away, and I knew he was going to be in for that. So that's what really, I guess, scared me about it in his regard because everybody's not gonna deal with it the same way. So, but raising him has been interesting. I've dealt with a lot of distance. I've dealt with unsupportive family from his mother's side. I've dealt with ignorant people in society. First of all, being a black man and you have custody of your children, you're already going to get looked at sideways anyway. Because I can't tell you how many times I've taken my son to handle business and I get asked where is his mother. What difference does that make on his father? So I had to deal with that, plus the mental illness, plus everything else. So raising him and being a father was very interesting, but it all led up to me being to where I can help other people, help other parents. One thing I make sure I tell every parent dealing with a child with a mental illness, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't worry about what caused it. Worry about how to address it. Could have been
amen.
genetic. Could have been so many things. Don't worry about the root at that point. Just worry about treating and healing and getting better and make sure the child is safe and protected so that it can grow while living with a chronic health condition that will never go away.
So in the bio, you talked about hitting rock bottom.
Mhm.
Can you explain to us what that was like and how did you end up hitting bottom and coming up out of it?
I hit rock bottom a couple times. First time when my marriage split up, um, that was my first kind of rock bottom. Then about 2.5 years ago, I found myself homeless on the streets of Dallas, but still running my nonprofit. I found myself abandoned and betrayed by most people in my life, but I still kept my nonprofit going. I found myself being homeless on the street a day after having had a heart attack, still kept my nonprofit going. So rock bottom is relative. Uh, we all hit rock bottoms. It looks different for different people. The thing is, how do
Hmm.
you respond to them? It's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you stand back up again. So
Amen.
rock
Amen.
bottom is just a rebound. It's just a rebound.
Amen. And oftentimes necessary in order to rebound.
Right. You have to have something to grow from. And people that have never hit rock bottom, I don't really vibe with them too much because they don't have that. I respect people that came from rock bottom. I respect people that fought back from something because they have a certain resilience and insight that most people don't have. If you have a life you never really went through anything, you don't have any. To me, faith is tied into that. That's what makes my faith so strong. I remember it was a Friday night, about 5 degrees outside. I'm on the street. I just had a heart attack. No food, nowhere to go, nothing. Just trying to figure it out.
Were
And I
you at
remember
did you
looking.
go to the hospital?
Yeah, but I was discharged the next day because it was a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, look, I got to go. So I went back and ventured out. And I remember walking, and I was thinking most people in my situation would give up, but I started smiling because the feeling came over me that God got me.
Wow.
It was just a matter of, hey, I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's 5 degrees, I ain't got nothing but a jacket. I don't really have much of a plan right now, but God got me. And you see now, He's got me. So
Yes. So, oh my God. So, how is your health right now?
much better, much better. I've got my nonprofit ever since the first of the year has been sort of transformative for me. I've been able to kind of get some new things started. We just installed our new board of directors for my nonprofit. We're up and going. Launched a new site, doing public speaking, writing my book, uh, uh, designing a domestic violence program for men with a nonprofit back in my hometown of Memphis that I'm very excited about. It's a year-long program because the reason I wanted to come up with that is because there's such a chasm in our communities between men and women, and I feel like domestic violence is a big component of that. But we always deal with the women, but what about the men? And
And
not
I
just the
want,
men,
yes,
and not just the men affected by it, but I also deal with men that were abusers
right.
because they
But
need healing too.
yes, absolutely. And as I had said earlier, and I say all the time on this show, 2 out of 3 adults who have unresolved issues, it stems from their childhood and domestic violence. If a child sees that, then they feel that's the only way.
Right.
And they don't learn any better until something happens. Training, awareness, those kinds of things.
Mhm.
It does concern me that there are a lot of men out here who have been abused by them in a domestic violent situation. I have had, I mean, people close to me, I've experienced, have seen how that impacts them.
Right.
And unfortunately, oftentimes they take it. They
Mhm.
just take it, the verbal abuse, the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, the name calling, and all of those things. Domestic violence does not have to mean hitting someone.
Right. It
It's
is.
that,
Yeah. It's emotional abuse. It's a lot of emotional abuse that goes along with it, and it usually is a precursor to the physical abuse, the
yes.
manipulation, all those things that people use to try to control and abuse. And we try to deal with all that in this course. Like I said, we deal with emotional abuse. We deal with abuse of women. There are men now that are being physically and emotionally abused by women. It's not just a one-way street anymore.
No, it's
So we
not.
deal with all that in this one-year program to try to facilitate some healing. And this is part of my mission. I've got other programs I'm designing, working on, trying to get funding for them. And you can visit us at mettaassociation.org, find out information about us, get in touch, donate, and support.
Meta Association, I'm typing it in the chat. Association dot org. Meta Association.org. Okay, and I'm also going to put it on the screen.
Great.
Um, and that's how people can reach you through Meta Association.org.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Um, so tell me more about the. And now you also said you were homeless while you were trying to build this nonprofit organization.
I found myself in this situation about 5 years in. This was about February of 2023, and the nonprofit's been going since 2018. And the point that I bring that up is that no matter your circumstances, you can't give up. If I,
Right.
that's my thing. I'm not one for excuses. Uh, and this one thing I'm proud of is about my recovery and my nonprofit because I figure if I can be on the street and still work my nonprofit and still stay sober, nobody else has an excuse.
Absolutely. Were there some circumstances that led to your homelessness?
A lot personal things, and that's the thing about dealing with the mental illness and recovery. Even though you're dealing with it, stuff in life is still gonna happen. You're still gonna deal with people that for some reason let you down. You're still gonna deal with economic circumstances. You're still gonna deal with societal changes. So things will happen. And one thing I've learned is never say it can't be me. I used to be when I was young. I was one of those people. Oh, that'll never be me. You never know what life has for you. So the best thing to do is try to fortify yourself to where you can deal with anything and recover from any situation because you never know where you could be next week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know you've been on a lot of podcasts and different shows. And I have a picture here. You want to tell us about Caught on the Hook?
Yes, that was conducted by my good friend and TV producer Cortina Jackson when I was in Dallas, and I was actually just I would think during that time that was around March of 2023. I think I was just coming off the street during that time, so that was a very interesting interview. It helped me. It actually helped me kind of lift myself up. It gave me a chance to first really tell my story and start to kind of recalibrate my life from that point. So that was a very poignant interview. So um, yeah, people can check that out. I encourage it. I encourage it. It was a very good interview and one that I was very, very proud of.
Okay, that's awesome. And also, I'm going to give you some time to talk about all of the different things that um, you are doing. I want, well, before let me pull this back down. Because in your bio, you said you talked about politics, you talked about social activism. Tell me about your politics, your political endeavors.
Well, I've worked as a campaign manager on a couple campaigns. One for my friend Damon Curry Morris back in Memphis. He's considering another run, so we're gearing up for that. I've been involved in things politically as far as dealing with helping out with the school board in Memphis. Uh, I've been on several initiatives with the city. Metta Association actually tried to sign with the city of Memphis to try to deal with the homelessness problem there. I was involved in some Tyree Nichols protests, collaborated with John Cornyn's office. So I believe that policy is really going to be the way to affect change as far as helping mental health. It's going to be legislative as well as social. I'm a conservative. I'm not a Democrat. So that's interesting in a sense. I have to be very nuanced in how I deal with people, especially in my own community. So it's been interesting. I've always been a politically attuned ever since the youth. My father raised me that way, and as frustrating and as sad as it can be sometimes, politics are a necessary evil.
Well, let me ask you, given your political persuasion, how are you feeling about what is going on right now? And let me also say that as of today, and I told you this before, because of the hold on government funding, both federally and statewide, because of the federal, I lost my job today. And it stems from some things that are going on in our country right now. And so, understanding your persuasion, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And I know we didn't say we would talk about this, but I didn't, we didn't talk about what our persuasions are either.
Mhm.
And and so this, I must ask you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to try to stay quiet
Okay.
and let you share your opinions about what is going on right now.
I think right now, a lot of the change in terms of federal funding has been to cut the fat. I think we're finding a lot of waste on that. But I think people's focus, especially Black folks' focus politically, is really kind of off right now. They're too worried about Trump because they're on a hate uh, they're on a hate crusade as far as he goes, instead of focusing on what really affects Black people, which is our local elections. We
Let
got
me
people. I
say,
see people every day whining about Trump, but they don't say anything about those local elections. And those local elections are what determine how you live your daily life, not what Trump is doing.
well, we can
Agree to
agree to
disagree.
disagree.
Right.
And without question or doubt, you said that Black folks are hating. Trump.
Mhm.
When in my opinion, based on what we're seeing, the elimination of DEI, the elimination of, the discrimination that we're seeing towards people of color, not
I don't
just
see it
black
that way
folk.
though. I don't. I think
Well,
DEI was a joke. DEI was a buzzword. DEI was never real.
well,
Once DEI become profitable, you see it went away. It costs money. It's to make people feel good. It's not really meant to help people. A lot of
I
these programs and initiatives and things the Democrats have done to make us feel good, but not help us. They want to
well, you
give us
know
program.
what?
They want to give us
You
everything, but it's not
you
helping us.
know
So if
what?
they make us
You know
feel good,
what? Okay. And I'm not here to try to persuade you.
right, right.
But I will say we need to be concerned with what we see.
Hmm.
And right now what we see is a lot of vile hatred coming from our administration.
But
We are
my whole thing is we've seen that. I've seen that come from black folks all my life. So I mean, I just it just doesn't make sense to me. I've seen we are our own worst enemy. White folks really not thinking about us like that. There's no big
Well,
grand
but the thing
conspiracy,
is,
but
what's happening right now is not only affecting black folks, it's affecting everybody in this country.
that's good. But
Everybody.
I ain't concerned about
Well,
everybody
okay,
else. I'm just concerned
okay,
about. I'm just saying. This is all I'm saying. We worried about the wrong thing. The
okay,
Democratic Party does not benefit us. So we either need,
okay.
I'm not saying
Well,
below Republican, but I'm saying try something else. Because this
well,
mess they giving us, they speak feeding us
all
crumbs
right.
and we just happy with it. So
Well, I mean, I definitely am in total disagreement with you, and
right.
it's
And that's
okay.
fine. And that's fine. And
Yes,
there's
we
nothing
can
wrong because
agree to
right.
disagree,
Because
and we will move
we're not a
on.
monolith. We're not all the same.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's what people count on. They think all black people think the same. I know more to think like me than anybody else. The circle I'm in,
Okay.
they're more to think like me. Most of the
I
black men I
know.
know are conservative,
Well,
especially
and
my
it
age.
okay. Okay. Um, there's so much more I can say, but I'm not
Right, right,
because I want to keep this positive and focused on what we're doing to make a difference in people's lives.
right,
That's
right.
what's most important.
But
And
at the end
speaking,
of the day, it doesn't matter what your persuasion is. What I look at, I work with officials that are going to work with me. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. That makes no difference. I work
well,
with
right
Democrats
now,
that are good. I work with
exactly, but
Republicans. Yeah,
right now, the Republicans are refusing to work with the Democrats,
that's
and
not
as
true.
a
I work
result,
with John Cornyn's office. That's not
okay,
true.
all
This is just a
right,
narrative. This is a narrative of
all
the
right.
liberal media. I mean, just honestly, that's
Now your dog is barking. He's telling us we need to move on. We're going to
well. I
move
mean,
on.
that's
We're
the
going to move
thing.
on. We're
Politically,
going to move on.
we're a gang mentality. It's either I mean, it's like the Crips and the Bloods, and nobody's working together because everybody's stuck on their ego. You
Okay.
got you
I
know
really, we really literally could have a debate about this today, but we're not going to do that.
no.
We're going to focus on Meta Association. And we're going to focus on the other things that are really crucial and important. Um, like, let me pull this up. These are the things that you are doing, and let me move this banner. In fact, let me scroll it. Okay. Okay. So, whew, some of the services that you can book George for include, oh,
Hello?
All right. We had a technical glitch. And so I am going to, George, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So we started, but we're going to talk about your services and what it is that you're doing. So you're a mental health advocate, and I can't see all the things that are on here. Wait, let me
Right.
maybe we do it this way. Okay, so it's wellness and mental health. It is for every. It touches everybody, and you're saying, "Well, I'll let you talk about it instead of me reading this."
Right. Well, the thing about mental health is it truly does not discriminate. We learned this during the pandemic in the sense that it affects everyone from every diaspora, every race, every economic background. So a big part of what we do is advocacy work. Oftentimes, we may get calls from people that are having a particular issue, perhaps with the school system, perhaps with an employer, or maybe needing guidance or advice in terms of giving disability or services. So we advocate for them, as much as we can. I've gotten calls from people over in England looking for help. I've done a lot of things in around Nigeria in terms of telecommunicating with them and doing conferences and speaking and trying to just do as much advocacy work as possible. As far as my public speaking, that's what I use as my platform to enlighten those about mental illness. That's what I use to try to inspire, to try to enlighten, to try to teach. So that's a passion of mine. And also, I'm penning my first book. I've written a few articles for magazines. I've been a lifelong writer. I believe in the power of the written word. It can convey things in a way that the spoken word often can't. So that's something I'm passionate about, and I plan on doing more writing about mental illness and about my journey and different things as time progresses.
That's awesome. I'm going to go to a commercial and we will be right back.
Been in myself for a minute. Hallelujah.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership. Your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier, 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today, and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
No more 9 to 5. Let me tell you, this organization is a networking organization that will help take your business to another level. It is an international networking organization where it also offers masterminds from those who are involved. You might want to consider checking this out yourself, George. No more 9 to 5. They have so much that they're offering their people, and you can join for what I think it's $1.11 or $2.11 the first month, and those dollars go towards veterans. So all proceeds, much of the proceeds go towards helping veterans. So check out No more 9 to 5 at bit.ly/no more, the number 9, the number 2, the number 5, VT, and see how it may be able to take your business to the next level. All right. So, all right. So I want to come back to the work that you're doing where domestic violence is concerned. And let me also ask you, what was the impetus to get you into the domestic violence arena?
Well, in dealing with mental health for the, since I've had the nonprofit, I was paying attention during the pandemic. And in my research, what I kept noticing, I kept seeing more and more instances of domestic violence during the pandemic because people were isolated, trapped in the home, stressed out. And I said to myself, at some point with Metta, I want to address the issue of domestic violence from a male point of view because that often gets neglected. And then we wonder why things don't get better. Because you have to deal with both parties involved in that in order for them to come together and heal. So I started thinking about what would be beneficial for men in this situation. Different, even the abusers, they deserve an opportunity to try to heal and correct their action and stem the tide of domestic violence. But mainly, what predicated it was the pandemic and just the amount of just domestic violence increase that I noticed and read reports on.
Have you ever been involved in that yourself?
No.
That's good.
No,
That's good to know.
I've just seen how it affects men around me. I've heard stories about it, and I'm just like, I want to do something to help.
Yes, and my son was involved in a situation where it was mental, emotional, and manipulative abuse. And he grew up, he was never called out of his name. I raised him as a single mom. And I intentionally made sure that I never belittled him. I never called him out of his name. He grew up with a great sense of confidence, but he was in this relationship for over 10 years. And one day he called me and he said, "Mom, if I stay here, I will be a broken man." And I'm sure that you have had men who have gone through this kind of abuse feel the same way.
Right.
Because just like it tears down, now I was married and domestic violence was a part of my marriage. I was only married for 3 years because when he attacked me in front of my son, I knew when my son was 3 months old. And I knew then I was not going to raise my son in that kind of environment. But having gone into that marriage very confident, very enthusiastic, full of life, and all of that, within 3 years, I lost all of that. I lost it all. And it literally took over 3 years to get back to feeling a sense of myself. And so I know that domestic violence, whether it's verbal, physical, mental, or emotional, and mental, and spiritual abuse is more devastating, in my opinion, than that physical abuse.
Right.
Because those scars never leave you unless you do something, you work on yourself to change your perception of yourself as a result of that abuse that took place.
Right.
So what kinds of things are you doing with men and also, well, with men that are abusers and men who have been abused? I want you to take a few minutes to talk about that.
Well, typically my approach to it would be to try to, of course, there's going to be an assessment. We sit down and talk, and you want to try to find out what was their relationship like. What relationship did they see their parents or caregivers exhibit coming up? What was their relationship like with their mother, their father, their family? Usually, that's a good indicator as to how they may
Absolutely.
react to those situations later. So you want to find
Absolutely.
out as much information as you can. Um, and then when you meet a gentleman in that situation, you want to find out who he is, find out what his sense of self is. You can determine and discern whether, it's external or internal, because he's going to have to deal with it his internal first before we can deal with the circumstances. He has to have a
Absolutely.
sense of self. He has to have a sense of self worth to get away from this situation. So, and it's the same with women. It's the same process.
Yes,
We have to find out
absolutely.
what's going on. It's the tenets and the onset of healing is the same. Now our path will be different, but we have to do that. We have to find out, what was it like for you coming up? What is it that you want? What have you been through? So we can better diagnose what's going on with them and help them heal and help them be whole and help them be better people. So the process for men and women is the same, but it's just about listening and caring and being genuine and
Absolutely.
actually wanting change.
Wanting change.
Right.
And you started the show by saying, change, you don't change because of your parents, you don't change because of your children, you change because you know that's what you need to do. You also talked about selfishness,
Right.
and it is not selfish to want to self-care.
Right.
You can't care for other people if you're hurting,
Right.
if you're not seeing yourself in a positive light. It's very difficult to try to raise somebody else up when you're still feeling down.
Right.
So, let me also ask you another. Now, are you currently on any medications or anything like that, or
Oh
are
yeah.
you?
Yeah, I'm one of those people. You take your medicine. If when people tell me, especially when they have mental illness, I don't want to take my medicine. I'm like, you must want to die, because that medicine is gonna help you regulate. People that think I don't need medicine, I don't need this, you're a fool. Because I'm a type 1 diabetic. If I don't take my insulin, what's gonna happen? You end up dead. It's the same with your psych meds. It's all encompassing. You have to have the therapy. You have to do the self care. You have to take the meds. It's a combination. Otherwise, you're just playing around and being a fool about your mental illness.
Yeah, and health in general. Well, I'm one. I don't take medicine. I don't need to take medicine.
Right. You
um,
don't need to. That's one thing.
right, and I mean, like, I'm 71 and in pretty good health. I know. I just saw your look. I saw that.
I'm just playing with you.
Oh, but anyway, anyway, our diets, what we eat, what we put into our bodies, that is so important. And even where diabetes is concerned, if we can change our diets, then we might. I mean, I have a cousin who, as a result of just exercising, losing weight, changing his diet, removing himself from a whole bunch of sugar and that kind of stuff, he doesn't, and he was on insulin,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and now he's diabetes free
Right. And
because
some and there's some forms of diabetes where you can do that, but I've been on insulin 40 years. That's not changing no matter what I do. So I view that like my mental illness. It's not changing. It's not going anywhere. So I best try to treat it. And one of the
yes,
things I'm glad you brought up about what we eat, because we have to look at our diets too in a spiritual and mental standpoint. A lot of the
yes,
scrolling we do, a lot of the stuff we do on social media can either feed the beast or
yes,
nourish you. If you looking at, pay attention to what you're looking at on social media. Does it give you a sense of wellness, or is it just some drama that you want to look up and then you wonder why you feel bad?
exactly.
So what you take in is what you get out.
Exactly. Amen, amen, amen. And people need to understand that.
Right.
They really do. You got to feed your mind with positive stuff. You got to feed your mind with things that are going to lift you up and encourage you. And sometimes you have to encourage yourself, you know? And so we're almost out of time. Even though we lost some time here, the show ends at 8 o'clock. And so I'll have to have you come back, but I'm going to give you the floor to just kind of share your heart, and give some nuggets, to our audience before we say good night.
Well, the most important thing I try to tell people is that whatever stage you're at, whatever you're going through in life, you have to be patient with yourself. Don't let your healing or growth be dictated by the urgings of others, because you're the one that got to walk that path. So be patient with yourself. Uh, Endeavor honestly and earnestly to heal yourself for yourself. So my nonprofit Metta Association, we just launched a new site. You can reach us at www.metta-association.org. You can find out more about what we do and ways to support. And I thank you for having me on. I look forward to coming back again.
Thank you. And you said it's www.meta
Dash
dash.
associate. Yes, there's a dash in there. Association.org. It goes both ways. So I own both URLs. Either one will work.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to put this one up
Okay.
as well. So you can also. Oh, okay. I put it in the comments.
Okay.
Um, okay, so people will be able to click on that and find you. Well, listen, it has been a pleasure having you on my show. I'm sorry for that little glitch that we had earlier. And we will see you again. And I just want to say to my listening audience, enjoy your weekend. This is Hall of Fame weekend here in Canton, Ohio. So a lot of activities are going to be going on. My family's coming in from out of state, and it's just going to be a wonderful weekend. So you enjoy your weekend. Stay uplifted, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and also understand, based on this conversation, our past does not define our future. And no matter what it is that we may have gone through, this too shall pass, and we can move forward and not look back. So thank you very much. God bless, and have a great, great weekend.
The Vera Talent Show.